Hello everyone and welcome again to another build. Today's build isn't going to be nothing too special. This is actually kind of a redo of a case that I covered a while back, I think a couple months ago. It's the Cougar MG110. Currently sold out on Newegg. It's going for, it looks like $60 right now. When I got this one, actually I only paid like $38, I think it was. This one is one of the typical builds that I will sell for a decent price. This one actually does happen to be for sale. I'll usually build one of these every couple months or so, and then offer them up on my local Facebook marketplace. And I usually get rid of them pretty fast, and then I just usually take the money from them, flip it, and build another one. But like I said, this is kind of a redo of one that I've done before, and I'm trying to think. The last time I did the Cougar MG110, I think I covered doing a super cheap build with like some ketchup and mustard and stuff like that. I don't remember. This one, excuse me, is a little bit more, I wouldn't say pricier, but it is going to run you a little bit more than what the cheapy build was that I did a while back. But there is some improvements to this one. This one is going to start you out as basically a starter PC, and you're going to upgrade this one. This is just kind of the baseline that I will throw out there to people, and I just kind of want to show you some of the baseline features that I put into a lot of these cheaper ones that I will sell. We'll start out with the power supply. It's a 535 watt Scorpio 80 plus bronze power supply. It is semi-modular. I have a preference for semi-modular whenever I can. The cases where I don't use semi-modular is where I know I have a pretty good size case that I can fit a lot of stuff into. This one you can't. I remember that from experience. I remember that the back part right up there on top where that EPS is coming out at is kind of tight. I remember that I couldn't get no cable mod extensions in here either. And the main constraint there again was room in the back. It wasn't really so much anything up front. But anyways, on this one, it is running a standard water pump that's patched into the front there in a, you can see it right here, push-pull configuration. And then there's a fan right below it there. There's actually a total of 5 fans in this case. They're all RGB. These ones are, what did I put in here? CF120s, Deep Cool CF120s. Fairly quiet fan. What was it the last time I had? Was it Fractal Design, I think it was. Those were a little bit louder. These fans have the PWM control, and that's really the main thing I was looking for in an RGB fan. So if we can see it under here, I actually have, and then you see that one plugged in. That's the system fan header. There's one PWM, or excuse me, 2 PWMs if you count the CPU. But the main fan controller that isn't PWM is actually the water pump plugged in, and then one PWM I got running all 5 of these, actually 4 of these, and the 5th fan, which is this fan, is running on the motherboard's PWM for the CPU. That way, the 4 of the fans are running on PWM constantly, and this one is running on PWM from the CPU. And that makes for a pretty quiet machine. I'm running 8 gigs of memory in this one. You'll see that right there. The processor, I'm running a 200GE. I always kind of go cheap with the starter PCs because I figure if people are going to spend the money, give me more money to build a computer, then I'll focus on the CPU. But until then, I'm going to focus on making the most out of the features of the motherboard that I've chosen for them. And on this one, you can see an Ultra M.2. It's an NVMe M.2 drive there. And then it's also running, you can't see it, it's actually behind this wall. I got screwed in there, is a 1 terabyte SSD. And now optionally, you can go with like a 1 terabyte hard drive to save yourself some money. I like to go with SSD because I like the performance of the SSD, and you can combine that with the NVMe. It's a pretty good combo. Now, right here isn't a video card. What this is a TV tuner. So this computer is made, I'm not going to say this is a media center or a HTPC, but it is made to kind of do everything in one compact little setup. So that's why I put the TV tuner in there. And then another thing I did is you'll notice that the inside is painted white. I did that to kind of show off the RGB a little more. And let me flip off the light there. And as you can see, it gets a lot brighter in there when you paint that interior white. So that's kind of why I did that. And then another thing that was painted on this case is up front here. Like this here, this was pretty easy to do. There's actually kind of like 3 or 4 screws in the back of this bezel that you can take off to pull off this entire section right here, and I did that and painted that. And then this one here was just a couple little tabs. I think it's a couple here, one here, one here. Excuse me. And you pull that off and you can paint that as well. So I painted that. So if you look at this case compared to its stock features, which is just basically all black, you can see I did a little blue theme on this one that I got going on. And actually, if you look up here where the CD-ROM drive mounts, that's also painted blue. The hard drive rack that goes here is also painted blue, but I pulled it out because I don't need it. I'll end up adding it when I sell it so that it goes along with the computer. But if that person doesn't need it, they can leave it out. And so you got some pretty good airflow all around in this case. Not only with just the front going out back through there, but you got the water pump there. So this is a pretty cool case. I mean, if you go over and if I switch my monitor here, and if let me switch my keyboard. Sorry about that. And if I go to the CPU ID hardware monitor program and look at my temps for the Athlon 200GE, I'm running, 29 degrees Celsius at idle, which is just ridiculously good. But then again, it's just a 200GE. My preference would probably be like a Ryzen 3 or a Ryzen 5 with integrated graphics. But I start out with the 200GE. because that kind of gives me my base price of what I'm going to sell it for. You look at some of these other components in here, you can see them. The B450M HDV version 4.0 board is probably like the cheapest board on Newegg, maybe on Amazon too. I don't know. I guess I haven't really checked the prices lately. 8 gigs of memory is kind of the standard where I would go when you are doing a case. I wouldn't go lower than that, not in today's computing world. 4 gigs is just too little. You want to go 8 gigs minimum, and so that's what I put in here. Video cards, if I was going to put a video card in there, I'd probably put in something like a GTX 1660. That's pretty standard for people that are into the gaming. I don't put anything higher than that in these computers unless the person I'm building it for knows specifically what they want. One thing I've noticed building computers over the years is people will tell me, well, I want to game some, I want to do some gaming, and they aren't really what I would consider heavy gamers. So typically when someone tells me they want to game, I'm probably going to put a mid-range card into the computers I sell, which as of today would be like a GTX 1660, and you'll actually see that in a couple of the other recent builds that I've done for people. This one we're running integrated just because, like I said, this is a base model. It's not a gaming computer. I don't really classify something as a gaming computer unless I actually upgrade the power supply. I think 535 watts for this one is probably overkill, but I would rather go overkill than not have enough. But when you're dealing with some of the higher end graphics cards like this 1070, 1080, 2060, 2070, 2080 Ti, etc., you really want to run a more cleaner, higher wattage power supply than 500 watts or sometimes even more than 600 watts. So that's where you want to get into the higher end. That's what I consider a gaming computer. I don't know what other guys' definitions are, but that's my definition, is something that would require a higher wattage power supply with a higher wattage video card. So while this one might look pretty, I don't think this would technically be called a gaming computer. It is just, to me personally, it is a mid-level computer with mid-level capabilities that absolutely can be upgraded later on. But I do start them out with a good base, like I said, with that NVMe M.2, 8 gigs of memory. Even got a water pump in there if you want to change it up to a Ryzen or something. Of course, the leads for the 6 or 8 pin power supply are there in the back tucked away. So you absolutely could add something like that. But that's not the plans that I have for this one. I'll leave that up to the person who buys it. Now, another thing that I did right here, you'll see, is I got the blue screws right there, the special screws, and the blue back plate in the back that I painted the same color as that and the same color as the front. That was just to kind of give it a more uniform look. Now, if I wanted to, and really wanted to go on a painting frenzy here, I could paint this blue as well, kind of do a blue theme. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to leave this where it was dressed up a little bit with a little bit of color, but not overly done. I wanted to leave an option for the person that I sell this to upgrade this later on if they wanted to. And I think I left a pretty decent foundation here. The only thing about this board that I don't like is it only has 4 pins for the EPS on the CPU. I guess I wouldn't really recommend any of the higher end X series Ryzen processors for it. I would probably stick to like something like the 2200G, the 2400G, the 3200G, the 3400G, things like that. Maybe like a 1600, maybe even a 1700. I don't think I'd go with anything too much higher on the wattage just because of the limitations of the motherboard. But then again, I've never really pushed this motherboard brand to its limits. I have, like on the Asus and the MSI. ASRock, I've always considered them kind of the lower end board. I think the features in them are great, but I think they're more budget oriented. That's usually why I'll use an ASRock board on the more budget cases that I do. Don't know what else to say about this one. Like I said, this isn't one of the special builds I've done. This is just kind of a regular one, but I wanted to show you the regular one because this one is for sale, and I will be advertising this one for sale. I don't know what the price is on this one yet. It's probably going to be about $300. I'm guessing. I got to add everything up before I price it out. But that's it for this build. I got another one coming up in another Cougar case, one that's never been reviewed before. And I'm going to try to get that out within the next week, maybe week and a half. I'm waiting for some components to get here. That one's going to be a little better than this one. Like I said, this is just the standard one that I'll put out there for people. I will see you all in the next build, and once again, thank you all for watching. I will see you again later, guys. Bye.